YouTube friends, and welcome to my channel. My name is Deidre from Our Upcycled Life, and I do lots of thrifting, upcycling, repurposing, and DIY content, and I love new crafting friends. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell for notification so you don't miss any great DIY content. Today I'm going to show you how you can make your own air dry clay Christmas ornaments. These are so simple and so easy to make, and you can put on your own graphics, you can put on your own photos, you can customize them. They make fantastic gifts and they're affordable. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step tutorial today on how you can make some for yourself. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to show you today how you can make your own photo Christmas ornaments with air dry clay. A few things that you're going to need. You're going to need a rolling pin. I like to work on parchment paper. I have some, these are actually wooden slats from a shutter, and I like the width of them. That's the width of our ornaments. And I've got some pieces of wire. I'm going to use the DAS modeling clay. I find it works the best. You can also find modeling clay at the dollar store, and it works pretty good too, but I had this on hand and already opened. Now this is the size that I'm going to make my ornaments. This is just the top off of a mason jar, perfect size. And I'm just going to take my air dried clay and I'm just going to start to roll it just to flatten it out just a little bit. And then I'm going to take my two wooden slats on either side and I'm just going to roll that clay out, and the wooden slats will stop the clay from rolling out too thin and will give you the perfect width all along that modeling clay. I have it all rolled out, and now I'm just going to take my mason jar lid. Now you don't want to press this in to cut it, because then it'll make all the lip of the whole circle kind of rounded. I want to keep it nice and flat, so I'm just using my little knife and I'm just going to cut around it, not pressing that in, and making a nice circle. And then we'll pull away the extra clay, and we have one ornament ready to set aside and dry. Now after you've cut it out, you might have a little bit of a ridge. I just like to take my finger and just kind of smooth it out and make it nice. And you can dip your finger in a little bit of water if you need to, and that will help smooth it out too. And then once we have it all smoothed out, I've got my little piece of wire. I've kind of bent it so it's in a U shape, and you're just going to press it right in the top of that ornament and set it aside and let it dry. I'm going to make 4 ornaments, so I'm just going to work away at the other 3 and get them ready to dry. These are all ready. I've got the wire in the top, and we're just going to set them aside and let them dry. The drying time will all be determined on your weather where you are, how hot, how cold it is. But generally it takes overnight. So I'm going to set them aside and let them dry. These are all completely dry, and I want to make them kind of a rustic look. So I'm going to paint them all with some black chalk paint first. Okay, the black chalk paint has dried on all of these, and now I'm going to put a coat of white chalk paint on the front of each of these ornaments. Okay, I have everything all dry, and this is what I'm going to put on the ornaments. I've just printed off on my LaserJet printer on regular computer paper, and you make sure to reverse the text if you're using text, and also the pictures too. If you don't reverse them, then the couples will be on the opposite side. Doesn't matter as much with that, but with the text you want to make sure that you reverse. I'm just going to trace these out and then cut them and get ready to put them on the ornaments. I'm just placing them over the photo where I want it to be on the ornament, and I just got a pen and I'm just going to trace it out so I can cut them around that circle. And I'm just gonna, it doesn't have to be exact, but just to get the idea of where you want it. I've got a beautiful picture of my mom and dad, and a beautiful picture of my son and his girlfriend. And you can do this on an inkjet printer. Also, it's a little bit more tricky when you're doing the Mod Podge reverse graphic transfer on an inkjet, but if you practice a little bit, you can make it work. My LaserJet printer only prints out on black ink, so I have to do the black and white photos, but I kind of like that kind of look anyways. Okay, I've got them all cut out. I'm going to be using my Mod Podge matte. You can also use gloss. Just be mindful when you're using it, you're gonna have a gloss finish when you're done this technique. You're just going to lightly put a coat over the top of the graphic, not too thick. You don't need a whole lot to do this transfer. And then you're going to just center it on your ornament. Make sure you can kind of see the lettering through. Make sure you have it centered where you want it and it's not crooked. Press it down, get all the wrinkles and bubbles out, and then you're going to set it aside and let it completely dry until tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day and these are completely dry, and what we want to do is we want to lightly dampen the paper until you can just start to see the graphics show through, and then you're going to rub the paper off. Now you have to be mindful, this is clay underneath. If you put too much water on, you're going to soften that clay and you're going to ruin your ornament. So you just want to just sparingly put the water on and then just rub away. And as you can see, all of that paper is rubbing away and leaving that fantastic graphic. So I'm just going to work away on these. I want to distress these a little bit around the edges. I just have a really fine grit sandpaper. This is like a 240, and I'm kind of going for a real rustic look, and it just brings the color of that clay up. Kind of gives it a farmhouse feel. You don't have to do this rustic look. You can do your own style and your own colors and just kind of play around with it and have some fun and create some really customized ornaments. But I'm really happy with the way that these turned out. Now I'm going to seal these really well with a polyacrylic sealer. This is satin based. You can use a satin or a gloss. I prefer to use this as a top sealer than the Mod Podge. It gives it more of a harder coat and a nicer look as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to put a top coat on all of these ornaments. My polyacrylic is all dry, turned out beautiful. I love it. And I'm going to give you a little thrifting trick when you're out and you want to get some affordable ribbon. This was actually a pair of flannel pajama bottoms. And I picked them up. I think they were like $3.99. Threw them in the washing machine, washed them really nice, and then cut them into strips. And I was left with all kinds, this is just a little tiny bit of it, all kinds of Christmas theme ribbon to use on your projects, and really affordable. I'm going to add some to the top of the ornament, add a little bit of greenery with a hot glue gun, and that's going to finish it off. I'm so happy with the way that these turned out. A great DIY, so easy, affordable, and make a fantastic gift. So get creative. Use some of your photos. You can grab the graphics out of my Etsy store if you want to try out these graphics. I'll put the link down below in the description, and make some of these ornaments for yourself. I hope you enjoyed today's DIY. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. And if you liked this video, you'll probably really love this one.